get your keyboards ready because we're going to have people typing their answers into me privately. Okay, so this is tactic 1. It's white to move. So the white pieces are have the opportunity to make a tactic, and they can win some material. Material is like getting a free piece. So getting like a free bishop or a free queen or pawn or rook. So take a moment, and when you're ready, you can type me a message. So yes, it's white to move, and in 2 moves, they can win a piece. Okay, I'm seeing some awesome moves. I'm seeing people using some chess notation, which is great. I'm going to respond to the chat now. So I think we gave people sufficient time. Okay, so I just typed in the answer of how it should look. Notice how I said it's not queen takes e4. There's no X. There's no capturing sign because it's just a move. So the queen is just going to go here. And when the queen jumps into this square, 2 things happen, right? The reason why black cannot protect this rook right here, right, is because white is also threatening. He's building what you call a battery. So the queen and the bishop are combining together and saying, okay, black king, I see that your knight is not here on f6. You have a bishop here instead. So this square on h7 is really vulnerable, right? Just as a lot of people are saying. So in order to deal with that threat, black has to play g6. There's no choice. And this rook is going to hang. So queen takes a8, winning the free rook, right? Great. We're going to do the next one. This medium difficulty one. Okay. This one's a little bit more tricky. So definitely take as long as you need. I'm going to give you a solid minute or 2. So just look at the position, and it is black to move. So I'll flip the board. 3 moves total to win a piece. I'm gonna give people a hint because people are unsure. So in this position, right, we see this bishop. I see this knight, right? The last move that white actually plays is bishop f4, and this is the mistake. This is actually the move where if you plug it into a computer, it says, you know, critical error. Oh my God, you really messed up. And the reason why is because these 2 pieces are a little bit too close to one another, right? And there's nothing, and so all black has to do is play a combination of moves in order to put these 2 pieces in trouble, and then create another fork. So this tactic is about forks. I'm going to play the move. So it's pawn to e5. Can people tell me why white is unable to capture this seemingly free, delicious pawn right on the right? It's undefended, right? There's no knight defending it. There's no bishop defending it. There's no pawn on d6 to defend it. So why can black get away with just forking the knight and bishop like that, right? What happens if this bishop takes e5? So what happens, right, is this queen, she says, oh, okay, so now you're in my territory now, right? And so if I swing out to a5, all of a sudden I'm attacking the bishop, right? But I'm also putting the white king in check. So all of a sudden, this is another what you call a fork. So knights are not are you know, they love to fork. They love to fork, but the queens can also fork, right? Any piece can fork, really. So let's back it up a second. So you see how this queen, it wants to hop to a5 to check the white king. But if it does it too early, so let's say we did queen a5 first, so we'll create a variation. Then this bishop, and with the hopes of playing the same set of moves, right? Unfortunately, white can just get away with bringing the bishop back and making up for his mistake. And and then the fork in the middle is no longer available. So it's important to remember the order. So let's go e5, bishop takes e5, queen a5, check. And now the bishop can't retreat, so the queen's going to block or the pawn's going to block, and black's going to pick off that nice juicy bishop and be up 2 points in material, right? I'm going to do one more tactic. I apologize. This one's actually pretty hard. But for the advanced students, I think this will be a great challenge. And for the aspiring young people in the room that I know are developing chess monsters of their own, let's jump into this challenge problem. So no worries if you can't solve it, but if you can, you are doing great in chess, and I'm excited to help you out in the future. So let's look at this position, right? Before we start trying to solve this, I'll say a couple things, right? So it's white's turn. You should notice that white is down a knight. So when you count the material, right, two pawns are gone on both sides, but queens are both on the board, rooks are all on the board, but you see there's only one white knight and there's two black knights. It's gonna be weird when you see it. Your brain is gonna explode for a solid 5 seconds, and then I'll be able to break it down and explain things, right? Okay, so we got a bunch of different answers. Thank you guys everyone for participating. We got, I think, one correct answer. A lot of people are saying they want to put this rook on e1. That unfortunately will get you checkmated. So that's not good. We don't want to do that. I like the idea though, right? Because when you see this queen and this king aligned up like this, right, it's very tempting to want to put a rook there, right? But it's undefended. So that's incorrect. I got an answer saying bishop b5. That's an interesting idea, right? Because you want to put more pressure and pin this knight, but we really do not want to trade queens at all costs, because now all of a sudden black has lots of time to break these pins and all of a sudden not be in danger, right? Queen takes e4 does not work because, and if we try to, this situation is okay, right? We actually are going to win this knight back if we play rook to e1. But see how this square on d8 is defended by the knight, so we can't put our rook there. So what does that mean? So what do we have? There's only really one move that's going to do it. That's going to be able to win us this game, and that is actually rook to d8. So this move, it looks extremely weird, and you might be asking, like, what is the point of that, right? Can the king can just capture it, right? So what happens when the king captures? So when the king captures, because it's very important, this knight cannot capture, right? Because of the pin. So see, it's not letting me take the rook because this pin right here. The queen is pinning the knight. So the king has to capture, right? But all of a sudden, a new pin is created, right? So this knight is now pinned by this bishop to his highness, to his king. So now all of a sudden, what piece of black's is now available for the taking? Right? So the queen now is hanging, right? So now this queen on e4, it's no longer protected by the knight because the knight is bound to the king. So the knight can no longer capture this queen. And so we get a free queen. And so when black breaks the pin, we're just going to trade that and be very, very happy having a queen versus his rook and piece. So we're much happier now, right? Yes, we'll watch the highlights one more time. Let's see what happened. So again, so we can't take this queen yet, and we can't checkmate him by removing this queen. So instead, we play rook to d8. The king, the same thing would happen if you went to e7. The pin is still there. The king takes, and we gobble up the queen.